Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being here. This is such an important issue for our veterans. I also sit on the Education and Labor Committee, and a few weeks ago we conducted oversight hearing on the Department of Agriculture's proposed SNAP rule that eliminates broad-based categorical eligibility. And the finding was that it eliminates access for about 1 million school children to free and reduced lunch, and incredibly frustrating to be on the committee with this rule that the department did not include that impact in its initial regulatory impact analysis. And then after it did publish the analysis showing this effect, it continued to pursue the rule. And so that's just I just wanted to point out that frustration. And then in my home state of Nevada, 17,000 veterans receive SNAP benefits, and we know that low-income veterans may be unemployed, working low-wage jobs, or have disability, and SNAP provides such an essential support that enables them to purchase food for their families. So, given this pattern, I just want to raise a question about the USDA's priorities. Why has the USDA prioritized regulatory actions that would reduce state flexibilities, limit access to SNAP, and increase food insecurity, rather than actions that would be more proactive and responsive?
Thank you for the question. Our goal with these proposed regulations and the final rule is to align the program with the statute. The statute is very clear in setting income limits as well as asset limits for who should be receiving SNAP. And so we are trying to align the program with the statute and make sure that participants are treated fairly and consistently across the country, because we know that folks in California are being determined eligible very differently than folks who are living in Virginia, for example. And so what we're trying to do is really make sure that everyone's on a level playing field. Regardless of which state you live in, SNAP participants should know the expectations of how they should apply and what the requirements are, because the statute, defines that for us. And so we are trying to align the program with the statute and make sure that everyone's treated fairly and consistently.
So basically, it's our duty to change the statute if we want to see additional eligibility.
Yes, ma'am. Congress has that ability to do so. And so we're happy to always work with you all, provide technical assistance if there are any legislative proposals you'd like to pursue.
One question I have, so we know that there's millions of Americans who are experiencing food insecurity, including veterans, and are eligible for SNAP, but they don't receive the benefits. How is the USDA addressing that SNAP participation gap?
We want to make sure that our program does reach those who are in need and those who qualify and are eligible for the program. States have the ability, and they do some outreach in making sure that they work with different partners, whether it be through other federal agencies, like our collaboration has been with the VA, and making sure that we've provided some training to their caseworkers, and so that they know some of those requirements. And so I think there's some outreach opportunities at the state level and working with some of our other federal partners.
So the USDA is not taking any ownership of that. It's really through those partnerships?
The law prohibits us from doing direct outreach for SNAP as part of the 2014 Farm Bill.
Dr. O'Toole, I wanted to thank you for coming in today and your work with the Veteran Food Security Work Group. I'm particularly concerned, given the findings of the 2013 study, that vets with food insecurity tend to be younger, not married, earning lower incomes at a lower military pay scale. So I can't help but be concerned about student vets. I wanted to ask you, you listed numerous actions being taken by the VA identifying veterans who experience food insecurity, and I applaud that. What can we do to capture student veteran hunger?
Thank you, Congresswoman. The population groups you mentioned are all very vulnerable, and part of that vulnerability comes from the many challenges they experience as they transition from military to civilian life, oftentimes with while still bearing the scars of battle and many of the challenges that are associated with that, whether it's PTSD or other conditions and challenges. And so being able to enter into gainful employment, being able to fully engage are clearly an issue. I think obviously the role of student veterans and the dynamics that they are struggling with and shortfalls that may occur in their capacity to sustain a household are equally pronounced. I would have to take for the record specific plans and actions that we may be able to do specific to that population group, but I appreciate you bringing it up.
Thank you. My time's expired. Thank you.